Uh, my dad was a professional soldier and an infantryman. He was a glider infantryman in World War II, and he was in fact, every glider regiment the Army had during World War II. And it wasn't until I actually saw one of those gliders that I had any idea what my dad was going through. Forget the combat, which is bad enough. You can add on to the fact that the glider may kill you, that there's a group of people on the other side of the road that want to kill you too, right? PTSD, you have to have had the symptoms of acute stress for 3 months. And if you have it for as long as 3 months, then you've got PTSD. But during the interim period, you're suffering just like somebody with PTSD. They just don't call it that. It wasn't until I went to Vietnam and came back from Vietnam and saw other people who exhibited some of the tendencies that my dad did that I realized there was a good chance he had PTSD.
So PTSD is a direct nervous system dysfunction. So Evren is taking a little electrical stimulation and creating an earbud that'll go in your ear. And that electrical stimulation of the vagus nerve in the ear impacts the vagus nerve,
which is the longest cranial nerve. It's the longest nerve in the body, not just cranial, and it runs basically from the brain stem inside the brain to a variety of organs throughout the body. So it governs the heart rate, blood pressure, governs gastric, and it particularly governs the autonomic nervous system.
What we saw in our clinical trials was amazing, and people really got a huge benefit from this device.
So qualifying for an SBIR has a couple of major impacts, beneficial impacts on an early stage company. The first one's the money, right? Because you need the money and you get the money, and you get, in addition to the money to do whatever it is you said you were going to do, but you get overhead and a fee, which you can spend on whatever you need or want to. The second thing, and perhaps as important, is more a gestalt thing, which means that somebody, some scientist, thought what you were doing had promise. So you get a certain ability to argue for a kind of scientific validation for what you're doing because you got money from the NIH. And then the third thing is mechanically, you get to develop something, and at the end of that, you have a product, you had this validation, and you had the money. So in terms of the usefulness to early stage companies, it's incredibly useful. And we wouldn't be here without this SBIR. Well, we'd not be here, we're going to look like this, you know.